3 years ago, Sonic Frontiers changed everything. When this game first released, it felt like a fresh start, not just for Sonic, but for fans who had been waiting years for something new. And fast forward over to 1000 days, and I've played this game more than any other Sonic title in my life. Through every island, every update, and even the Final Horizon DLC, this world has much stayed alive for me. But what's crazy is how much Frontiers still surprises me, and even now in 2025, I've discovered little secrets, new tricks, and deeper appreciation for what Sonic Team was really trying to create, and exactly the way you're supposed to play Frontiers based off of Iizuka's vision. So in this video, I want to show you exactly what 1000 days inside Sonic Frontiers really feels like, how it's evolved and why it still means so much, and what it could tell us for the future of Sonic games, including Sonic Frontiers 2. But also make sure to like and subscribe, but that's only if you like me as a person, so you can obviously decide that at some point. But I guess you could say this video celebrates the 3-year anniversary of Sonic Frontiers' official release. So just so you know I'm not lying, I have over 710 hours in the main story, and I have 385 hours collectively across the Final Horizon, which creates to constitute over 1000 hours of gameplay. And each Sonic Frontiers day and night cycle lasts around 17 to 20 minutes, so if we take the mean average of 20, and times that by 3, we get about 3 nights in Sonic Frontiers per hour, which makes collectively over 3,285 days, but I'd like to round it up to 1000 because it mainly constitutes of the hours in real time. But in this video I want to give my thoughts exactly how we started from the first day of Frontiers all the way up into the 1000th hour. And to do that, I'm going to show you exactly all of the tips and tricks and really awesome things that Sega hasn't really abbreviated on, and I think would be awesome for the next mainline title. So to show this, I'm going to go into New Game Plus. I'm going to select my first save file just so I don't lose the others, and we're going to obviously go into hard. I'm not going to go into extreme because obviously I'm going to show you the exact pro way of playing Sonic Frontiers. This is the idealistic way that I love how this game is able to influence so much freedom. For example, you can use the spin dash to jump over things. I also just kind of wish that you had the spin dash right from the get-go. Obviously, this isn't my best playthrough. Normally, I'm able to just skip all over those things, but you can kind of see exactly what I'm pointing at, and it kind of relates a lot to the Adventure series with how you were able to utilize the spin dash to be able to skip over parts of geometry. And I thought that was really cool in Adventure because it revolutionized how Sonic is able to utilize his momentum in order to find different platforms or different pathways that you wouldn't really find in any other platformer, because if you were to just incorporate the speed of Sonic himself, it wouldn't necessarily work. I mean, yes, the boost titles do show that, but if you much like platforming, if that makes sense. Obviously there is platforming in Seaside Hill of Generations, and there are some great stages with the boost titles, but I find that with the adventure style gameplay, it opens up much more different routes and mechanics that you can utilize with Sonic's moveset, and I think Frontiers showcases that exactly, and I'm going to show that in just a second. So obviously Sonic has got incredible 3D movement, obviously he's got the side loop, and I feel like with Frontiers, when you have all of the abilities and Sonic's skill set is completely maxed out, this is kind of how I would expect base Sonic to actually feel like in Frontiers too. Obviously he's got that whole full-on 3D complete directional movement. You can utilize the spin dash. I also find something really cool about the spin dash as well. There are some things that Sonic fans do love to do, and that's first of all is to do things that feel satisfying. So if you guys remember fidget spinners, which is a very weird comparison, you know how you can just fidget around with Sonic in this game? So you can do this. I used to do this a lot around the Frontiers map. You can bounce and you can do these crazy tricks. So you let go and then you go forward and Sonic can do a little trick. Honestly, this is the way that I have seen how Frontiers' potential can massively affect the future of Sonic titles, because people don't really focus. If you were to look at the gameplay from IGN, you notice how boring that is, but then if you watch my gameplay, you're okay, this actually looks really fun. And obviously I can go from here. You can see how fast that I'm speedrunning this, and look, Sonic's just in the background there. Obviously, I believe that there should be more parries in this game, of course, because I feel it's just, you can't really lose. But what I do like about the combat is it's not incredibly intricate, but it's very stylized and flashy, and I feel that's what Sonic exactly needs. Of course, there could be some more enhanced combat variation and consequences for failing, but I do believe that Sonic's combat is supposed to be kill the guy, go to the next enemy, kill the guy, go to the next enemy. I think that's been a staple in Sonic gameplay, and obviously that's up to personal opinion, but obviously here you can see how fast we're doing things. I think I did remember you don't actually have to do that in the New Game Plus, but if you can just see how cool Sonic looks when he's doing these moves, it just shows how there's so much potential for Frontiers 2, and just how I've evolved as a player ever since going through Frontiers. So obviously I want you guys to rate my gameplay because I feel like I'm by far one of the fastest Frontiers players. Really do like cyberspace in Frontiers, but I do think the implementation of the spin dash massively helps the way that Sonic can look and feel. But obviously here now we've got to take care of a tower. Oops. You know what I'm going to do, guys? Instead, I'm going to bounce up like this. And then lock onto him using that. And then do that. That's going to be one of my favorite combos. I just wanted to show this because I don't think many of you guys would have as many hours on Frontiers as I do. And it might sound sad, but Frontiers has gotten me a lot through a lot of school. And obviously now that I'm 20 and when I started playing this game, I was around 16, 17. Yeah, it's been an incredible journey to see exactly how I used to find this game like quite okay. And then like I was like, damn, this game is so fun. Like, look at Sonic's like I know I'm just spamming buttons here, but I just really love how stylized and flashy things are. Now, does there need a bit more technique behind it and more of a wider skill tree? Potentially, yes. Now, the infamous 1-2 completely explains the way that Frontier should have maintained its cyberspace energy, and I think a lot of people obviously get a bit confused when it comes to cyberspace because they're like, okay, Sonic's really slow, you shouldn't have to spam boost. And ever since the implementation of the spin dash came into play, yeah, obviously I'm not saying that this is good, like, gameplay, obviously. I'm not trying to say that the spin dash makes it feel fast and, like, completely fixes everything. There definitely should be more implementation on how boosting works, because I think cyberspace does fail a lot on that. There should be levels designed like Shadow Generations, but then also being able to implement the spin dash to be able to skip certain sections would be super awesome, and I feel like they've kind of implemented that kind of with the Doom Wings and Shadow Generations. So, if you think about it in that sense, it kind of blends the perfect dilemma between getting to new pathways, but then also maintaining what Boost Sonic is supposed to be about. Because I think they can completely blend Adventure Sonic with the open zone, and then also having the boost levels with like the Shadow Gens kind of design. But the only thing I would change about the Shadow Gens design is I would make the level design a hell of a lot faster, but considering it's Sonic, I feel like that's going to be a no-brainer. But you see how I kind of skipped that whole like going up things? That's what I love about Frontiers. You can skip a lot in this game, especially when you have everything maxed out. I think the most infuriating thing is pressing this thing. Now, as a Day Zero Sonic Frontiers player, you would originally play and search for the friends, but there is a secret way to actually skip the first section of Kronos Island and get straight onto Giganto, and I will show you guys that right now. But also pay attention to how I'm platforming. This is like really stylish, and I would love to see this like further implemented. So all you would do here is jump on this thing, and it would send you absolutely flying into the sky, and your whole objective is to try and get over the invisible barrier that is blocking between you and the Giganto arena. Now, Sonic Team did originally try to patch this, but the problem is they elevated the wall, but didn't elevate it enough to where you could skip the section, and I think a lot of Sonic fans didn't realize that, and then obviously you go over this section, and then Giganto just spawns, so then you can use that to like kind of get a bit of momentum, and then instantly grab onto his leg, and then go all the way up, and then go. And obviously, the saddest thing, the critique I have about Frontiers is, yes, a lot of it's flashy, a lot of it's really badass and cool, but the issue is, like, when it comes to beating the bosses as quickly as possible, the best thing to do is obviously just to keep stomping, like, which is kind of sad because, like, that kind of, like, is a very overpowered move. And yes, there are problems with overpowered moves in Sonic Frontiers, but I think what they could do to mitigate this problem is obviously decrease the amount of damage Sonic can do, because I feel like in Frontiers, when you get to level 100, it becomes insanely easy, and that's also kind of what I want to showcase as going from the first day to the 1000th hour in Frontiers. So I've explored everything you need to know about this game. Obviously, I know that when you get into the power struggle, you can just spin the left stick and then also spam X or square, whatever you're on. But then also, the second you get the second power struggle, what you can do, you can spam LB and RB and you can actually dodge the laser. But I can't do that because my right bumper is broken, but you actually can dodge the laser. See, here, you can just do that, and then go like that. Yeah, you can dodge the laser. Unfortunately, I can't show you. My right bumper is broken. But if you spam left bumper and right bumper, or L1 and R1, when he's about to do the laser, Sonic will dodge the laser. So that's a bit of a help if you guys are trying to get the fastest record time when Kronos Island. So we're done Kronos Island in about 10 minutes, I think. Okay, now you might be asking why we're going exactly through the Frontier story, and I kind of wanted to elevate every single little thing and detail that people missed about Frontiers, and moving exactly through day on day and explaining my entire thought process behind exactly why Frontiers is absolutely absolutely incredible sometimes, and obviously the areas where it needs improvement. I also just love how there's like little random platformy things just incorporated into the actual level design itself, like within the open zones. But I do think that if they were to implement all of these little challenges and have the entire map unlocked right from the get-go, Frontiers instantly would have sold better. But yeah, you can obviously see it's very empty, and like obviously that's something that I feel Frontiers 2 will massively improve on. They're going to have a much larger budget with Sonic Team increasing their production scale by 40%. But then there's also really cool things in Frontiers that I do appreciate, and like that's for example with this enemy here, where for example if you wanted to just get right on top, you obviously have to use these things right here, right? But we're not going to do that. You can actually like spin dash off that and then land right on here, and then you're instantly working it. So you come over here and you'd grab all of the memory tokens for Knuckles. There should be one standing right here. There's also a vault key somewhere around here. I think it's like, there's a vault key around here. I bet you it's somewhere here. I swear I remember seeing it. Is it this? One thing I will criticize Frontiers about is that a lot of the game has filler when it comes to finding all of these memory tokens, and I think that that is not a very good way to pace a game, because eventually I did find it to become quite boring. But then the more that you play Frontiers with the fully maxed out stats, it becomes really fun actually to just find all the memory tokens. But if you're just playing with the basic branded out default Sonic, it becomes extremely tedious. So that's the first stage of that. But then if you do that and then let go, Sonic does a little flip. Then you press A or X on PlayStation, Sonic does like this little like flip, and it's really awesome because like I love how like you can like do little flips whenever you want to, and then you can obviously land back into a ball, and then maybe if you want to go straight back to the ground, you can press circle or B, and like you can just instantly go back into that spin dash motion. And then incorporating this with the actual open world environmental puzzles, yeah, it actually becomes really fun. Now obviously the first step is to find as many of those Knuckles tokens as you can, because now I'm going to show you a really cool skip that obviously a day one Sonic Frontiers player wouldn't really be able to grasp, or even a 50-day player. So I want to teach you these really cool techniques and exactly how I've mastered Frontiers. So you want to get to the part of the game where you run into Wyvern, and you have to run away from Wyvern, and then you will automatically be able to transfer to the boss gate, which is extremely easy. Now I think you only need to play one cyberspace, and just to showcase some really cool moves of like combat, you can obviously use the spin dash, obviously if I can hit any of them. And then also you got these cool moves like Grand Slam, and then if I throw this guy up in the air, I'll be able to cross slash him, and then bang, go around this guy, lock on. See, look how fast everything is in Frontiers. It's all very, very fast paced. So if you're actually able to play this game like with like some professional gameplay, yeah, this game can become incredibly fast paced and super fun. This section, guys, whenever you see the laser appear, go instantly onto a second rail, so then you know that it won't hit you. Now the best way to take this guy out is obviously to just keep reiterating these moves. This is one of the main criticisms of Frontiers. A lot of it is very mashy in a sense that like you obviously don't really have anything throwing back at you. I don't think the mashiness is the problem with like the stylized moves. I think the issue is that the enemies need to throw back in a way that isn't just making them throw faster or just making them like react quicker. You need to add like general counters that allow Sonic Frontiers to be more lucrative in its combat design. Sonic's supposed to be fast. I don't think Sonic should be like precisely countering every single thing with like, I don't know, A, B, X, Y. It should just be straight fast. Everything should be extremely calculated. I think auto combos directly correlates to that. Obviously the fan base has been incredibly diluted. Obviously there's going to be people who play Sonic Colors and be like, what is Sonic Frontiers? This is a lot more complex compared to my average Sonic game, which, you know, it does make sense. So it adds that like more sense of accessibility for people who don't really want to go crazy with like complex moves and stuff. So like auto combos is there for a reason, and I think that that's a really cool implementation. Now the 2D levels. I want to know what everyone else thinks of these, because obviously it can be quite diverse. However, I think when you have the spin dash and you also have the homing dash, it can become incredibly fun. Utilize Sonic's skills to be able to traverse the level that is not necessarily conventional. So in short, the whole speed issue of Frontiers is massively fixed when you have the spin dash in it, because the game can become incredibly engaging. But then when you're just using Sonic's like base moves in cyberspace, it can become quite bland, and I'll show you what I mean. So look, this is me running with Sonic, just not using the spin dash, and then as soon as I use the spin dash, slash. You see how I go rocketing forward? And another thing I should mention is that cyberspace needs to actually implement how Sonic has that sort of explosion when he moves forward. Like, for example, in Generations Unleashed in Colors, you know how he has that sort of explosion and he blasts forward? I think they need to be able to find a way to balance that back into Sonic games and obviously maintain the whole speed. And I think that whole surge ability from the Frontiers to Summit Spire Leagues actually does consolidate that perfectly. And then this cutscene would trigger, which allows Wyvern to be into the fray. And this is what I wanted to say here as well, guys. Look at the actual poly detail on Sonic's fur. It's really, really good. Like, yes, the model isn't the best. Like, obviously, I would want a way better model. But the actual like detail on Sonic's design is actually really good, especially considering that they were making this multi-platform for Nintendo Switch. I just don't like how short Sonic looks in Frontiers, because yeah, I know he's supposed to be short, but like he can still be short but be very slender, and that like 06 model design kind of allows him not to feel like that. I also think that like these kind of cool like little action scenes, like obviously they're not the greatest because like they're not very like anticlimactic, like it's not a really interesting area. But if they were to do this in like a fully hybridized environment with like really awesome set pieces, yeah, this could be extremely cool for Sonic Frontiers too. Okay, so now the first thing you should be trying to find after activating Wyvern, you should find like this little eye beacon here. And then what you should do is find yourself in this exact position, and then you gotta run around a certain point. I think it's like around this, and then Wyvern should spawn in. There we go, right there. I think it's like around like this little patch here. Wyvern spawns in, but obviously I'm not gonna fight Wyvern because like everyone's seen people fight Wyvern, but I want to show you something really cool about how Sonic Frontiers gameplay actually does feel really translucent. And this is shown perfectly through Battle Rush, as I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. So normally most people would obviously hop onto the purple road to obviously fight Squid, but what I do here is I try and line myself up, and then bang, bonk him right on the head, and then do it again, do it again, do it again, and then he'd obviously go a lot faster. So then you head up the mountain, right, and then you try and aim yourself right for his head, bang, straight there, and you get him right in 24 seconds. I know a lot more people are going to do it at a much quicker time than me, but you can sort of see exactly what I say when I love how Frontiers' combat is fast, but then also like it doesn't really leave much thought. So I think there should be more moves with some of the enemies. Like for example, this enemy here, yeah, there obviously should be more moves to be able to counter Sonic's skill set. But I think some of the enemies like Squid and the simple ones that fly around, yeah, just keep them as they are. I do find something a little bit ridiculous though, is if you do that and then go right like that and do the recovery smash, you can instantly take out this tower. So it's a bit ridiculous. And I believe Sonic Frontiers does truly peak when you invite the Final Horizon DLC. Now obviously I won't be showcasing the other characters, but obviously because I've mastered the skill set of Sonic and to his maximum ability, I want to show you guys what a 1,000 hour veteran beats the Final Horizon boss. So obviously here you would first off take out one of these, and then you'd let Supreme hit you back, because now he's going to instantly send these like triangle things at you, and then wait for Sonic to go up. He's going to go up here, and then you start with cross slash, and then you go down and stomp, go down and stomp again, and then see you straight onto stage 2. Now this part people get confused on. You'd instantly take these out using Sonic Boom, and then you'd instantly deflect all of these triangles coming at him, and then you would go wait for Sonic to go up again, and then now you would do the spin move, and then you do cross slash, and then do the spin move again, because now this completely deflects his ability to actually come at you, and now you go back. You do need to trigger him a bit by going on his back, but then eventually he starts going back into the super mode. So obviously now you just need to lock onto one of these, then he'll send you flying back, and then now a cutscene should initiate where you've just obviously got to do this QuickTime event. If you guys do remember the original Supreme QuickTime events that were cut from the game, those were super cool. I don't know why Sonic Team got rid of those, but now you just do this simple QuickTime event, you do the whole side loop kick, and then you go straight into the second stage of the boss. I don't know if this is weird to you guys, but this boss is giving me major nostalgia. So you go straight and like take off the cord off of head, which is obviously supplying you with energy. You can't dodge any of these circle things, so just try and get in as much damage as possible while you can. And then this is where you start initiating with your power-up abilities. So you go straight here, you go straight into this ability because it will give you the most time for your move, and then obviously you go straight into Phantom Rush. Just keep spamming this like crazy. Now obviously dodge these because obviously his giant weapon. Now with this, quick side loop is kind of broken, so just like normally side loop it, because if you try and quick side loop it, it's not going to give you the best bang for your buck. You need to spin around him and then parry him instantly. Sonic will go up, then you need to go this way, go LB, and then you need to cut this right off. Then you need to stomp him, and then you need to do Y and B, and then you'll get an instant one of these QuickTime events, which completely destroys his health. Experience this cutscene where he drains a lot of your rings. Obviously Sonic gets absolutely smashed in this part, but this does happen regardless of how good you are at the game. I think you can avoid it if you kill him fast enough. Just keep stomping like that, and now you've instantly taken him out. So now you go here, and the rest is just really simple. It's just quick time events. This always just makes me feel so good. This is why Frontiers for me is just peak, because it's got so much of that kinetic energy of just how Sonic is as a character, and like how he's been defined throughout the entire 35 years of his history. Yeah. Oh my god, this scream is like so amazing. Oh my god. Oh, this whole scene is just so aura-defining moment. And I think I beat the boss in around 2.5 minutes. So yeah, that exactly shows how fast you can beat these bosses if you've got the right moves and the right skill set. Now, am I saying that this game is completely flawless? No, there is a lot of problems, especially with how easy some of the sections of this game can be. However, there is a lot of really cool charm on how Sonic is able to go so fast from combat to straight into levels and then right back into his open world exploration, which is a really cool paradigm between how Sonic can like level all of these. Like obviously this game wasn't polished in how it was able to execute all of these motives, but it was a damn fine attempt. Also, there are certain moments in this game where I do look at a lot of these models and I think that they look mostly fine, but there are massive levels of improvement that they could do for Frontiers 2. And obviously with the whole like animated job listings, I do believe this to be true. But what this whole experience has taught me is that for the inclusion of Frontiers 2 is that this game has a lot of charm. It's incredibly fast, you can utilize the spin dash and a lot of really cool awesome moves and a lot of really cool button prompts to actually make the game incredibly fun. Because obviously when I first played Frontiers, I didn't really find it super entertaining, but then the second that I got the spin dash and I booked all of Sonic's moves, yeah, it was a really grand time. And especially when you play this on a 4K TV and you're fully experiencing Frontiers in its best fidelity. And that's without the exclusion of mods, which can actually amplify this game to its maximum effect. And I really would like you guys to check out Sonic Frontiers Revisited, which is a complete reimagination of parts of Frontiers, which is a really cool way to show the potential of what the game could have. But I have no doubt Sonic Team will make Frontiers 2 their best game yet, and if you guys do think the same, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, but that's only if you like me as a person. Thanks for watching. My thoughts on my 1000 Frontiers Day experience.